Hello ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to do a tutorial over sections 7.1 through 7.3. I do realize that you only took notes from one another for 7.1 and 7.2. So if you feel like your notes are lacking a little bit for those sections because I did not present them to you and instead your peers did, go ahead and take notes today. Feel free to pause the video at any time so you're getting everything that you need. Okay? Alright, the first thing that we're going to cover is going to be vertical, adjacent, complementary, and supplementary angles. Okay? The first thing that we need to define is vertical angles. Vertical angles are going to be those that are opposite of one another. Vertical angles also are always congruent. So that tells us in this picture that angle G is equal to 145 degrees because the angle across from it, right here, is equal to this angle. Okay? Adjacent angles is one that we've kind of struggled with. They have to share a side and a vertex, and then they have to be side by side. So angle HGK is adjacent to angle KGJ. All right? Adjacent angles are going to always be side by side and share that side. All right? Now, complementary and supplementary angles are kind of tough to remember or keep straight. Complementary angles are going to add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. So in this picture, we have a good example of a supplementary angle. Now tell me, a straight line is always equal to what? 180 degrees. So that means that if it's split right there and this is equal to 145, to find the supplementary angle, let's say A, right there, we would need to subtract 180 minus 145 because this angle and this angle will have to add up to 180, and that would equal 35 degrees. That would be the supplementary. You'd go through the same process to find the complementary angle, only instead of 180 right here, it would be a 90-degree angle as our sum. We also have to remember just a definition that perpendicular lines look like this picture right here. They form 90-degree angles. So keep that in mind as you're going through your work today. All right, now we're talking about corresponding and alternate interior angles. The first thing I want to remind you of is the transversal. That transversal is a line that's going to cut two parallel lines in quarters or in halves, whatever it may be, okay? That transversal I marked in red because it's important that you understand the definition of that word. Okay? Now if we look at corresponding angles, they're going to be on the same side of the transversal, so they either all have to be on the top side or all have to be on the bottom side. And they are going to be in the same position. So corresponding angles in this one might be 1 and 3. They're on the top side of the transversal and they're in the same spot. They're to the left of that parallel line. Okay? So maybe angle 1 and angle 3 are corresponding. Another one would be angle 2 and angle 4. See if you can find another corresponding angle. I would say angle 5 and angle 7. And the last ones that we'll see are going to be angle 6 and angle 8. These are all corresponding angles. Excellent to write down in your notes if you haven't done so already. Okay, let's switch colors. Now let's talk a little bit about alternate interior angles. They have to be on the inside. By the inside, I mean inside these two lines, okay? And they must be opposite of one another. So, I see that 3 and 6 would be alternate interior angles. I also see that 2 and 7 would be alternate interior angles. at any point, if you have questions, just go ahead and pause and raise your hand. I'm here to answer them for you. Okay, the last thing that we covered in section 7.3 was congruent polygons. And the biggest part of that section was going to be similar triangles. They can be proven congruent with three things. We could have side, 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 or angle, side, angle. Remember that you need to write congruent statements, and that's what we're going to do. And then you need to prove that the polygons are congruent. So my first step is going to be write my congruent statements. Okay? Remember that these ticks signify that they're equal. When there's two lines, you have to match them up. When there's one, they're equal. So right away, I'm going to say I see angle A is congruent to angle D. Okay? I also see that side AC is congruent to side DF. And lastly, I see that angle C is congruent to angle F. Now I need to go through and label these. I see that this one was an angle, this one was a side, and this one was an angle. So my triangle ABC was congruent to triangle DEF by angle, side, angle. All right. Now those are the most common concepts that we covered. The biggest ones, the ones that I want you to know for your test, the ones that I want you to know for your future mathematical careers. Okay? Please reference back to your email as to what your next step is for the class period, and your practice problems will be explained in that email. If you have any questions, please let me know. Feel free to watch this again if you have any misunderstandings or you need to go back to fill anything into your notes. Have a great day.